You finished creating your online course, and now you probably want to make it for sale. So we'll do that next. To do that, we'll start with the landing page, the sales page. That'll be under website and landing pages. We don't want to make it a website page because if you were to make it a website page, it would have the same header and footer as all your website pages. And on a sales page, you probably want to link it like from your Instagram straight to the sales page. And you don't want people clicking the navigation or the footer, checking out your other pages, because if you're sending them to the sales page, you want them to stay on the sales page and their only focus is to learn about this product you're selling and then buy it. So we don't want the navigation header like you normally would on website pages to be there, which is why we're going to create on the landing page. So we'll come to landing pages here under website and then landing. We'll just do a new landing page. And you can use any of these templates. You can see there are some sales templates in here. I'm not going to go through how to create a landing page. I will provide you with a checklist of things to include on a sales page, but I'm not going to go through how to design it. I'm generally showing you the flow of how Kajabi works from sales page to purchase, and then what the customer journey is going to look like once they do purchase. So I'm just going to choose this one right here, get started. Just call it sales page. You don't want to call it sales page in real life because it's probably the name of your course or something. Because whenever I go to preview it, up here in the navigation, it'll say sales page, and you probably don't want your buyer to be saying that. So the name of your course, keep it on the shorter side would be great, because you can see the size of the browser window is not very big. So you want to put like this entire line, for example, in a browser window as the name of your page. So I'm going to get rid of this header first. Click on the header. If you roll down the left side, you'll see desktop. You can hide the header. Roll down a little more. Mobile layout. Hide header. Save. Because I'm going to actually have this link to social media, or if you have your website somewhere else, you probably have them click over there and they come over to Kajabi where your sales page is located. Or maybe you do have all your web pages inside Kajabi, but you still want the sales page to be separate on the landing page area, just in case you want to have it available somewhere else, like straight from Instagram or something like that. So we just removed the header. And then for the footer, I'm just going to remove everything but the copyright. I just click on it and choose delete. And then you'll put the name of your business here. And of course you want this page to be branded just like your website pages. So if you go back, you can come over here to settings and style guide, and you can choose the same button colors and the same fonts as your website is. So the sales page looks similar to your website pages, and they don't feel like when they click over there that they're somewhere else. So let's just say we've created this beautiful sales page. We're done already. And now we're going to move on to the checkout page. So the checkout page is the place where when they click buy now, so these buttons, we're going to call it, some kind of actionable thing like, yes, I need this, or whatever you want to say there. The call to action here, the button action, can either be go to a checkout page. So when they click on it, there's a smaller page that is an area where they can enter payment. Or you can have it as a pop-up checkout, and when they click the button, it would just pop up and they enter payment details here. So it's your choice what kind of customer experience you want it to have. I prefer the open pop-up checkout, and then we'll create a checkout page in a minute. But if there's no reason to visit the checkout page if they already absorbed all the information here on the sales page. So if they read the whole sales page, they're ready to buy, they just click here and enter payment details. But if you have something like a terms and conditions that you need them to check prior to purchase, or you have specific details you want them to know about and be sure that they read and agree to prior to checkout, then you will want them to, instead of a pop-up checkout, you want them to go to a checkout page where you have those specific terms and conditions you'd like them to read. But either way, whether it's a pop-up checkout or you click on it and it goes to the checkout, we still need to create the checkout page. So that'll be the next step. I'll open up another Kajabi window, and we'll create it by going to Sales and Offers. And here I can create a new offer, and we'll just call it whatever the name of your course is, or the name of whatever you want to call your offer. I'm going to choose this to be included, so when they purchase it, they'll receive that. Continue. I'm going to go ahead and make it free for now, but you can come in here. I don't have payment connected on this. This is my test account. I don't have payment connected, so you can choose payment plan, subscription, one-time payment. So one-time payment is like $50 today. Subscription would be like $50 every month. Payment plan would be like 3 payments of $50, and then that's the end. So your choice, and you'll put the price in here and choose. You'll probably have Kajabi payments hooked up. And if you don't, you might want to, I'll go ahead and include actually a link down here as well about how to hook up Kajabi payments if you haven't already done that. And optionally, you can also connect PayPal, and I'll include instructions on how to do that as well. You actually can't give your course, your offer here, a price until you connect either PayPal, Stripe, or Kajabi payments. Now with Kajabi payments, you can collect using all major credit cards, Google Pay, Apple Pay, Afterpay, and Klarna. Those last two are payment plans. If you just use Stripe, it's only credit card payments, or if you just use PayPal, it's only PayPal. So I like to use both Kajabi payments and PayPal because that includes absolutely everything. So for now, I'll just make mine free, but you can go ahead and fill in yours as paid as long as you have your payment connected. We'll continue. This is where you can choose the color of the button. Where it says pay, it'll say complete my purchase, and I can put whatever hex code in there, or I can choose whatever color I want there. And it defaults to say complete my purchase as far as this button here, but you can type in whatever you want. And I like to always collect the name. And you don't really want to collect address or phone number unless you really need it. So the less things people have to enter at checkout, the more likely they're going to be purchasing it. We want to make this a seamless experience. So asking for their address when you don't need it is like kind of a barrier to purchase. So this is what I was talking about with allow customers to consent to the terms and conditions policy for your business. And you can choose, we'll cover this a little more when we get to the checkout page, but you can see that you can ask them to check a box for, yes, I agree to these terms and conditions, or don't even bother with it. And I'm just going to choose don't even bother with it, and then explain to you once we get to checkout. Save and finish. And I'll create a page for you. So this is, let me show you what the checkout page is going to look like. So this is like the beginnings of a checkout page. So I'll show you how the back end works, and then I'll show you how to edit this area. So what'll happen over on our sales page, like I mentioned, they'll click this and either come to this page to enter payment details, or they'll click this and it'll be a pop-up and it'll just say enter payment information. So here I am back in this area. And if you want to navigate here again, I'm under sales and offers. And you just click on the name of the offer. And here we are in the back end. And then to get to that checkout page, I just click edit checkout and this page opens up. So let me go back to the back end here and explain this back area. So obviously we have the title that everybody sees. Then we have the internal title that only you see. Then we have optional description if you want to add it here. You don't have to. And then for whatever price you're asking for over here, in exchange, they're going to be receiving whatever products are in here. Now you can have more than one product. Let's say you have a course and coaching and a community. You can have all three of those in there. You just click add product and you'd find it, and then you'd have that many products in this area. So this back end is basically saying when somebody pays this amount at checkout, they're going to be receiving these items. Then we get into smaller details, things like if you don't want the course to begin for another 3 weeks, you might click begin access at a specific date and fill that in if it's like a cohort and you guys are going through together. If it's not, and anyone can take the course at any time, you do not want to check this. And then we have restrict access to a specific amount of days. And that could be maybe you only want people to have a course for 90 days, paying X amount of price for 90 days. So you click there, you need to enter the number of days that they have access. But if you want lifetime access, which most courses are available lifetime access, you don't even want to mess with that. And then the next area is post-purchase. What's going to happen once they enter their payment details? Where are they going to go? So by default, it goes to the library, and I'll explain the customer journey actually in the next video. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is a 3-part video. So the first part, we created the course. This one, we're connecting the sales page to the checkout. And then thirdly, I'll walk through the whole customer journey and also how you can improve it. So I'm actually going to cover this in the next video. And automations, I'm also going to be covering that in the next video. So that's all to fill out here. And of course, you want to make it published. If it's set to draft, then nobody can access it. You want to put a thumbnail in here. Optionally, you don't have to. 1280 by 720, because whenever we go to edit checkout here, if there's a picture you entered, it'll show up above here. But if you don't want one there, you don't have to put one there. So I'm going to go back here again. If you decide you want to change the price, you can just click on pricing. And we have those same options that we had back in the other area when we were first setting up the offer. So one-time payment plan, subscription, or free. And let's say whenever you go to checkout, it currently says free. Maybe I want to say, I can add a custom price text. I want to say free to everyone. I want to say that instead. Save that, refresh. And you see how it just changed that? So that's an option. You don't want to charge everybody $25 and then type in here, get it now, because what will happen is that they'll come here and they will have no idea how much it costs, because this is the area where the price will actually be filled in. So you want to, be sure and look at this and make sure it makes sense. Here I am back again, and it'll have connected payment providers, and probably you'll be using Kajabi, I assume. You'll click those, and then you'll see some options here where you can choose to turn on or off Google Pay, Apple Pay, Afterpay, and Klarna. So the last two are payment plans where you get all the money up front, but the buyer finances with them. And then down here, you have the option to send a quantity limits for this offer. So say you only want to sell 10 of them. Say it's a cohort. You only want to sell 10. You can turn that on and say set quantity limit. And then it'll ask, where would you like them to go if they try to reach that checkout page and you've already sold 10? So then you can choose a sold out page where you can type in what you want it to say, or you can choose a landing page, which I prefer, because with a specific landing page, you can create it, brand it, and you can give them next steps. So they won't just land on it and be like, well, what do I do now? You probably want to give next steps like create a wait list on that sold out page saying, sorry, we're sold out, but you're welcome to put your name and email in here, and I'll notify you when the doors open again. So that's a better experience than using this, filling this out, and it's just like a little pop-up thing. So what you would do if you do want to redirect to a landing page, you would create a page just like you did a sales page. You would go to landing, create a new page, and then you brand a little page that says, sold out, all that stuff. So let's turn that off. And then the next option would be set a time limit on this offer. So if you're selling this and you do have firm doors closed, October 15th, then you want to turn this on and add the expiration date here. And just like when you set a quantity limit, this also asks you, where would you like them to go afterward? And again, I suggest the branded landing page. So if you choose that, then you would, choose whatever the name of the page is here. So these are two items you can use for urgency to possibly sell more of your stuff, or it actually is a firm cohort that begins in a particular date, or you only have so many seats available or whatever. And the next thing here is upsell. I personally don't use this because this is where they would go to the checkout page, enter payment details, and when they complete, then there's a pop-up that says, hey, want to buy this other thing? I mean, you can do that if you want. I'm not going to go through how to do this. You can, choose learn more if you want, but I find that to be a little too salesy for how I like my customer journey to be. I do offer an order bump at checkout, and I'll show you that in a second. And I personally don't use this upsell area. So next, we'll go to settings, and you can run through these. The one I like to turn on are two of them. Get notified when a purchase has been made. Who doesn't want to be notified? And you put your email in there, and if it turns gray, it saves it. So click save. If it doesn't turn gray, that means you didn't press enter after you entered your email. Next, I like to turn on cart abandonment, maybe or maybe not. When you do that, it'll ask, well, at what point would you like to send one? And this email, I'll show you that actually in the next video about where Kajabi email templates are located. So they do have one cart abandonment email that will go out at a time that you choose. And it pretty much just says, hey, notice you were going to check out, but you didn't. Here's a link to go ahead and buy it. That's kind of all it says, but you can customize that, and that's what I'll show in the next video. And you don't get to know who is receiving it. So it's just kind of going to go out behind the scenes, and you're never going to know. So you can choose to have those on or off. And then next, we'll go to the actual checkout, which I already have open over here. And let me show you how to customize this. So it does default with this banner at the top, and you could put something in there, but my experience is that no matter how beautiful you make this banner, it doesn't look that good on mobile, and also it's not helping you. Like having this big picture across there is not helping people just focus on entering payment details. So personally, I actually uncheck the enable banner, and then just makes it cleaner. And if you did put a picture over here, back here in details, I'll go ahead and put one in. Let's choose this picture here. Save that. And then now when I come to the checkout page, refresh it, you can see how the picture's up here. I think that's fine. If you don't want one, you want it plain as can be, you do that too. So if you do have pop-up checkout on this page, then people will not be visiting this checkout page. But if you have the pop-up checkout on this page and you turn on a cart abandonment, then whenever they receive that email and would say, click here to purchase it now, they will be seeing this page. So I would go ahead and create this page, make it look pretty, even though you might be using pop checkout. So to update any of this information, just click on it, pops up on the left, and you'll enter whatever. So what I like to include over here is maybe exactly as it says, insert a call to action that encourages customers to purchase, maybe just like one line, because you already went through a whole sales page. You don't need to re-say everything. So maybe one line like this course will, and then state the transformation that the course gives. And then what you'll get is pretty much what's included. So I actually don't like using the word get. I just say what's included. And then bullet point, this includes, the course, the community, coaching program, whatever it includes. And you might also want to say it's 3 60-minute videos, that you can complete over 2 weeks or something like that. Tell them exactly what they're getting, not just the transformation, but like, are they videos? Is it a PDF they're getting? What is it? So you want to describe that a little better here. And at the bottom, I like to include whatever your refund policy or guarantee is. If you don't have one, it's okay to just say in here, no refunds. At least you have stated something in here. And then over here, I just like to collect name and email. And normally there would be credit card collection here, but because I have it free, I don't have my payment set up, it doesn't show up. And then I'm going to go back. And next, I want to hit additional settings. And this is where you have the option to either collect the password. So in Kajabi, anytime somebody buys from you, they have to set up a password, even if they're not logging in to get anything. Even if you were doing coaching over Zoom and they don't need to log in for anything. In Kajabi, it's just how it works. If they buy something, they have to create a password. So you can either collect the password over here at the time that they're entering payment details, or you can choose returning members don't need to log in. And what will happen is that they'll go ahead and enter payment, and they'll click complete my purchase, and there'll be a little pop-up that's unbranded. It's Kajabi's colors and everything, and it'll just say create a password. So it's your choice. You can either have them go to that unbranded page and do it that way, or you can collect it here like this. But then it creates another problem where they're trying to check out, but the password is saying you need a capital letter, you need a number, and they're just getting frustrated, and they're just like, whatever, I'll come back later. So it's like, which one would you want? Frustration here or unbranded second? So those are kind of your choices. For the service agreement, that's what I was talking about, the terms and conditions. There are two ways you can do it. You can either check required, save, and then this box pops up. I've read and agree the terms and conditions of this page. And you would have maybe any terms and conditions down here, or you can create a landing page where you paste a full, if it's like lengthy, you could create a landing page and all that's on there is this full terms and conditions, and you can place it in the navigation in the footer. And this other one is custom service agreement. You can save that. And this is actually, let me put something in here, show you what that looks like. So it looks like that. So instead of having the terms and conditions over here or in the footer, you would just paste it right in here, and they would check the box saying they've read them. And if it's really long, then it'll actually be like a scroll bar over here where they'd have to scroll through to see them all. So it's up to you how you want to present your terms and conditions. And then I go down here. I like to choose checkout form on the bottom for mobile layout, and that way they'll see this first and then this, because it defaults with this, and that means that they're going to see this and then this, and I don't like that experience, so I like this one. And then footer, if you do have a privacy policy, you want to create that over navigation, which I'm not going to cover navigation in this video, but you want to create a footer and place your privacy policy on a landing page and then connect it to the footer in the navigation bar area. And if you have terms and conditions, you also want to include that there. So I would just choose the footer here, and there's nothing, I don't currently have anything in the footer, so nothing shows up, but once you do create those landing pages and then put them in the navigation menu, they'll show up here automatically. And that's it for this. So we'll go back. And then form fields is where you can choose other things. If you have a custom field to add, for example, maybe you're a hairdresser or realtor and you need to collect a license number, you can add an extra field over here that asks an additional question. Maybe even, how did you hear about us? Something like that. Go back. And then design is where you can change the color of this button down here. And this is where you'd also optionally add a banner across the top that we talked about, and logo, which would replace this. So I personally don't like the logo here. I would either put a picture of the course here or nothing at all. I don't know, the logo just doesn't fit in my opinion. If you're selling this course, you're not selling, the company. But it's up to you, of course, what you'd like to put there. So we'll go back. I think I covered pretty much all the things. Oh, order bump, that's important. So this is where I mentioned the upsell before, that I don't use that there, but I do use the order bump here. So what you can do is choose an offer. Let's say it's this. Order bumps won't be shown. They can only use on paid offers. But if you just choose that, then it'll show up over here. So it'll say, you'll describe it over here, and then it'll pop up over here. I don't think I can, do it because it's a free offer. But you'll see what I mean when you type something in here and it'll come over here. And what I like to do though is it doesn't mention the price of what they're buying. So I like to be sure and add a note that says, click this box to add for $19 or whatever it is. And then they know to do that. Otherwise, they're clicking the box and they have no idea like that it costs an extra $50, and they might do a chargeback or just a little confusion. It's just a bad customer journey if you don't tell them how much it is. Otherwise, they might click it, check out, and not even notice, even though it does add it up at the top. I don't know. You decide what you want to do. So there's that. And I think that's about it. And now your checkout page is ready to go. You can come over here to the sales page, click on every button, go to the call to action, and I'll make the button action open pop-up checkout. And this one right here. I'm just going to do that on everyone. If you want to instead have them go to the sales page, you can say go to checkout page and choose it that way. But if you're going to do that, I would have it open up in a new window. That way when they click on this, this opens up and they're not leaving the sales page, because sometimes people just want to click on the button, see what's over here, but they're still reading the sales page. So we want to make it easy for them. And that's about it. And I'll talk about the full customer journey in the next video. And just to recap over here, to get out of here, you'll just click on offers. And here I am back in this area and back at the navigation bar area. And run through one more time. Just click on the name of the offer, and just so you're comforted, if they're paying whatever you're asking for here, they're receiving these products, and then it's connected properly.